The evening prayers now underway at St. Patrick's Cathedral here in New York City behind me. And even before the Pope arrived here in New York, he made history today. His speech before Congress, an historic first for a Pope, at times pastoral, but also political. And in that chamber, the applause at times very divided, as I mentioned. The Pope speaking in English for nearly an hour, tackling immigration, abortion, climate change, and the death penalty. Along with members of Congress, presidential hopefuls, and only 4 Supreme Court justices, 5 choosing not to attend. Among them, 3 of them are Catholics. The crowd asked to hold their applause until the end, but 34 times we could count breaking the rule. At first, when the Pope said this:
"In the land of the free, at the home of the brave."
To thunderous applause, but there were at times half the chamber applauding, the other half silent, and ABC's Terry Moran, traveling with the Pope, explains why.
The halls of Congress had never heard anything like this.
Mr. Speaker, the Pope of the Holy See.
As Pope Francis made his way down the aisle, there was no glad-handing or backslapping. Speaker of the House John Boehner had banned all that. So they cheered Francis, and he stood there for a moment, taking it all in. No Pope had ever stood here, and minutes before, just after entering the Capitol, Francis was blessed by the House chaplain. In his office, Speaker Boehner, a devout Catholic and former altar boy, fidgeted and paced, visibly nervous, before welcoming the Pope.
Your Holiness, welcome.
All through the speech,
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker.
the Speaker, this famously emotional man, struggled to hold back the tears and couldn't, overwhelmed by a dream come true. As the Pope addressed the American politicians, the chamber hushed. They actually listened. Speaker Boehner had also tried to ban applause, but that didn't work. Pope Francis stirring deep emotions again and again.
I think of the march which Martin Luther King led from Selma to Montgomery 50 years ago.
Sitting a few feet away, Congressman John Lewis of Georgia. He was on that march, beaten by police that day, and now this powerful moment.
I am happy that America continues to be, for many, a land of dreams.
Time and again, Francis boldly raised controversial issues, immigration and the refugee crisis.
We, the people of this continent, are not fearful of foreigners, because most of us were once foreigners.
Nearby, Senator Marco Rubio, a presidential candidate and son of immigrants, held back the tears. On capital punishment, the Pope bluntly called for
the global abolition of the death penalty.
And at the end,
God bless America.
He left the chamber and walked out onto the west front of the Capitol, where 50,000 and more had gathered on the Mall, and asked them to pray for him. John Boehner overcome again, and Vice President Joe Biden summing up a remarkable day.
And Terry Moran joined us now. You can hear the incredible choir and the organ in St. Patrick's behind us. But we were talking, it's hard to imagine another leader being able to walk into that chamber, tackle such issues, immigration all the way to the death penalty, abortion, climate change, in front of such a polarized Congress, and yet he seems to do this all with a smile.
He does, doesn't he? This is a Pope who believes that the real value of religious faith isn't doctrine or worship, it's getting things done. He believes the Gospels require that, and he tries to enlist everyone he meets in that cause, including in the Congress of the United States.
All right, Terry Moran has been traveling with the Pope. We'll see you again tomorrow night, Terry.